Hey guys, I hope you're having an amazing day today. I just wanted to come to you and talk to those of you who struggle with Mother's Day each year. I kind of wanted to give you me and my husband's testimony of our struggles with Mother's Day as well. Here's a little side note. This video may be a little chatty and a little lengthy, so if you're not feeling it, just go ahead and scroll to the next. But I really hope you do take a moment to listen in. If not for yourself, then maybe for someone, a family member or a friend who is dealing or who has dealt with these issues. So, there was a moment not long ago where me and my husband both hated Mother's Day, like hated it, like with a capital H. We hated it. Didn't want to deal with it, didn't want to celebrate it, even though I have the most amazing mom and an amazing stepmom. Um, we just didn't want to deal with it. And my husband didn't want to deal with Mother's Day, or he struggled with Mother's Day because he lost his mom in his 20s. And for a very long time, he struggled with anger and frustration and kind of sort of a hatred, not towards God, but a hatred of why did it happen. And then he had to figure out how to live and thrive without his nurturing backbone being there anymore. And that's really difficult, for someone or anyone, male or female, who have a strong bond with their mom, for them to no longer be there. It's just, it's tough. And being his spouse, I had to learn how to say things when it was appropriate to say it, but then keep my mouth shut when I thought maybe I should say something, but it just wasn't the time. You know how sometimes people try to help you and they say the wrong thing at the wrong time, and you're just like, you shut up, please. We had some moments like that because I would just try to say the right thing and it just wouldn't be the right thing to say. So I had to learn how to support him both um, verbally, non verbally, emotionally, and spiritually through his struggle, and just be there for him and be empathetic um, without being overbearing. And so that's a really fine line to walk with your spouse. Um, because you don't know when you're overdoing and when you're underdoing, and you want to make sure you're there for them, but you don't want to do overkill. So we had to work through that while he was going through his healing process. I mean, he's still going through his healing process, but while it was fresh. And so then on my side, I was struggling with the whole Mother's Day thing because of my infertility. From the time Tommy and I got married, pretty early on, we learned that I had some complications and some things that needed to be figured out and worked out before I could conceive. And so, 1 year passed, 3 years passed, 5 years passed, and I'm kind of like, well, what's going on? We over here like bunnies, it ain't nothing happening. And the reality that it is truly a struggle and may not happen was a little frustrating for me. And so then, being around, the kids and birthday parties and, blah, blah, blah. And then Mother's Day is just all of that wrapped up in a pretty bow. So, I think it was 2015. Well, first of all, on Mother's Day, we would call our parents, and but we wouldn't really do a lot. We would mostly sleep through the weekend, try to just get through that day. And but this particular year, we were still living in Florida. We hadn't moved back yet. And I told him, I said, I think I want to fly into Baton Rouge to go spend Mother's Day with my mom. And he was like, cool. He was fine with it because he would be able to deal with his emotions on his own, without me being so overbearing there. So I flew in to see my mom for the weekend. And of course, on Sunday, she wants to go to church. Okay, cool. Let's go. And my mom is a member of a traditional Baptist church. So they had service and then they do the announcements. And then at the end of the announcements, they do the Mother's Day presentations, presentation to the oldest mother of the church, the youngest mother of the church, the mother with the most children, and then all the mothers stand up. And so by the end of that presentation, like my chest is literally caving in and my head is throbbing and I feel like I'm about to just burst out and crying in tears at any moment. I'm twitching in my seat and trying to keep it all together. And my mom is looking at me like, what's wrong with you? So when we get home to the house, she's like, Shaysa, what's going on? And I had never really been honest with my mom about my infertility issues. Well, I'm not going to say honest. I had never just been forthcoming with how I truly felt because I've always been a person just to kind of keep my emotions in, keep them to myself, and just deal with it myself, and not really express how I'm feeling. So that day, we had the most raw, unfiltered, unbiased, woman to woman, realest conversation I have ever had with this lady. And I thank God that He placed it on her heart for us to have that talk. Uh, and I just opened up to her, and I just told her I'm 35. I just don't understand why this is happening or why this isn't happening. We've had 4 rounds of in vitro. I'm sorry, not in vitro. Artificial insemination. We spent thousands of dollars on infertility pills. You know, um, Watching what I eat, working out. I have great insurance, and it's just not happening, and I just don't understand why. And she turned to me and she was like, Shaysa, you are never going to have peace with this, or you're never going to be okay with this until you completely give it to God. And what I mean by saying that, this is her talking, is when you give it to Him, you give it to Him humbly, knowing that whatever path He chooses for you, you have to be okay with it. Meaning, whether you have children or whether it's His will for you not to have children, you have to be okay with that, in a place of being okay with that when you go to Him with it. And I wasn't trying to hit it. I wasn't. I was like, H to the no. I'm used to getting stuff done myself. I'm used to making a plan, setting my goals, executing my plan and getting it done. So I should be able to do this. I can do this. And she just left it there. She said, well, I'm done with the conversation because this is where it is. So flew back to Florida and I sat in that place for 2 more years. 2 more years, not budging until finally, some things had happened in our life and it just hit me one day where I was just like, I need to try something I've never tried before, which is trying God to the point of completely surrendering to Him. I mean, we be saying we surrender to God and we gonna give it to Him, but a lot of times we give it to Him and then we take it right back and put it right back in our lap, and that's not what He wants in that situation, and that's not what my mom was talking about. So, and it's difficult. It's very, very, very hard to give something the one of when it's something that you truly cherish or truly love or truly desire, and it's in the physical, and it's something that you feel like you can get done in the physical, to be able to completely give it to him in the spiritual and leave it there is a hard thing to do. I know. It took me 15 years. I'm sorry, no, 14 years to get to that point. It took me longer to get to that point than it took my husband to get to a space of thriving. So, the reason why I'm saying all of this and the reason why I'm telling you guys our testimonies is because I don't want anybody else to go through what I went through for 15 years or 14 years before you decide that, okay, I'm going to give it to God. That is time wasted. I wasted 14 years because I was too selfish to do what needed to be done, which was go to God and just completely let it go. So I'm telling you guys this because my hope and my prayer is whatever your struggle is, whatever is going through, you're going through, whether it's the loss of your mother or struggles with infertility or struggles with the loss of pregnancy or a combination of all of it. I just hope and pray you can find it in your heart to go to God and give it to Him because He is the only one that can give us peace. Like my mom says, peace that surpasses all understanding. And it took me 14 years to get to that point. You know, I'm grateful and I'm thankful for our miracle babies that happened later. But before that happened, I had gotten to a point of peace to where I wasn't even thinking about kids anymore. I was actually, because I'm a planner, I was making plans um, for me and Tommy's life, goals and 2 year plans, 3 year plans, 5 year plans that didn't include um, children. Children, me, a child between me and him. So I didn't even realize I had moved on to that point. I didn't. It just kind of happened, and when it did, I just kind of up and looked one day like, dang, it's not affecting me the way it used to affect me. Like, I'm not a walking time bomb or a ticking time bomb just waiting to go off. I think I'm actually starting to move past that point, and I'm able to live and to thrive and just to move on with my life or with our life. And with that, it also kind of took some of the strain off of our marriage because a lot of the strain in our marriage had to do with infertility. Him losing his mom was definitely um, a heartbreak, but that was something that we could cope with, and I could be there with him to support because of the fact, at the end of the day, he had those amazing memories, with his mom. But with this family that we're trying to create, and we don't know if that's going to happen, you know it was a little bit more difficult. We would have arguments about it. It would start off as a discussion and would end up as a shout match because we're both emotionally just all over all over the place. So to that effect, don't be like Shay and Tommy, emotionally everywhere because you there's a lack of communication and you're not looking at the bigger picture of letting God take over the situation. Let him have the situation. Give him control. And when you give him that control, don't take it back. I do hope and pray that whoever is watching this, if you're dealing with something like that, that you are some point in time, blessed with God's covering over you to where He can give you that comfort that you need. So that's all I wanted to share with you guys today. I do apologize if this video is a little choppy. I'm a little all over the place. I'm still learning how to kind of do this. This is completely out of my comfort zone. I rather write than talk, but I do hope that it blesses somebody. I hope and pray that you guys have an amazing weekend. And last but not least, if your stuff ain't right with your mom, if you guys aren't talking, if you aren't in a good place, get that stuff right. It's not even worth it. Like seriously. After everything we've gone through this past year and a half, I'm quite sure everybody watching this has either lost somebody due to COVID or knows somebody who's lost somebody. It's not worth it. Make the relationship right with your mom. If you're the child, go to her and flip that back over to the right side. So you guys be blessed. I'll talk to you later. Have a good one.